Well, good evening, everybody. It's my honor and privilege to be here this afternoon and evening with you. And I would like to start by extending my thanks and appreciation for the organizers of this important event for enabling us of being part of this present part of the whole structure of the bigger event. And I hope that you will excuse my lingual handicap, that the language of Cervantes and Lorca is not mine, and unfortunately that one of Shakespeare is not mine too. But after all, this is also one characteristic of Africa, that is always adaptive. I'll try to be very brief. I don't want to contribute further to the assassination of your weekend Eve. And I am intending to try to trigger more questions than provide answers, as I know that they are all academics, and I can see that most of our students here in Finland, they seem to be typical book rats. So Africa is quite a huge encyclopedia, and to be asked to talk about Africa, culture, politics, and cooperation with others is just simply too much. And as you all know, that it's always difficult to review a book, and I think you can appreciate the impossibility of reviewing an encyclopedia. So let me try to adopt Bernard Shaw's attitude when asked why do we kiss ladies' hands. So his answer was that we have to start somewhere. So, let us start somewhere, and let that somewhere be Sudan. Not only because it's my country, but because it's a very special place these days. Because very soon, in this summer, on the 9th of July, will be two Sudans. We'll have the newest state emerging from the present-day Sudan, which you see in the map here. I hope that you see it. So I'm sure that our friend will enable you of that. The story of Africa is a very long story, as you know, and I'm sure that you have too many books and references in your libraries, and you really have time too. But let's stick to the hand. The story of Africa, the dynamics that has been moving African societies, I believe, throughout the modern days. I'm not going to talk about the old days of the imperial era and the colonial legacy and all that. I'm sure that not most, but all of you are familiar with that. But we'll come probably across some of the reflections on the present reality. So let me start by saying that the dynamics, the driving force behind the developments which we now witness, some of their manifestations in North Africa, in Egypt, Tunisia, Egypt, and now in Libya. These manifestations we see are just not the tip of the iceberg, because it is too hot there. Let's say that this is the beginning of the lava from a volcano, which is a product of huge forces working from within to make all this happen. And since I understand that some of you here who are students of psychology, it's all about political psychology, I believe. The story of aspirations and reality, the sharp contrast, new states coming into being with great enthusiasm, great expectations, aspirations, strong nationalist feelings, with a strong drive for achievements, and people expecting too much from governments that have to do so much in so short a time with so little. That's, in a nutshell, as I see, the main drive behind the forces which are now manifesting themselves into what people call turmoil here and there, surfacing here and then there and then there, and I don't know who is next. Does anybody know? This is the core point I think we need to focus on. Why is it so? What was the aspirations? My colleague was just telling us about the days of political romanticism, of Pan-Africanism, Kwame Nkrumah, Senghor, and others. Those days were the new leaders of new Africa, new states in Africa came up with not only with national ambitions, but even with continental ambitions. And those ambitions were shared by many among the people they lead. And that's how they came up, and that's how they're still receiving that kind of respect. And all that kind of respect, you can take it also for a yearning for the old good days of great dreams. But unfortunately, when everybody wakes up, a graduate, waiting for 5 or 7 years for a job, and no job in prospects, frustrated, at the personal level, at the personal level of livelihood, at the psychological as well as the physical well-being is not as expected to be, and the chances, the prospects are not also encouraging, so that if that doesn't cause frustration, then what is it that does? The difficult job of new states, leading people with great expectations, having huge resources, possibly, but goods not delivered. Goods in terms of better livelihood for the public. Not delivered. If delivered, not up to their aspirations or expectations. Hence, frustration. Hence, looking for change.